Welcome to Activations with JJ Ascension message. Today we will be talking about pausing to integrate, connecting with our Starseed families, and how to develop our own abilities to do light language. Hello, my dear friends. Thank you so much for joining me again for another episode of Activations with JJ. I am JJ, a Starseed linguist, an activation guide, a multidimensional channel. Those are just a few of the things I consider myself to be. But either way, I am so grateful to be here surrounded by your light and love. I can feel you co-creating, even though in time and space it may not be exactly here. But since there really is no such thing, we can all be together at one time and feel of each other. It's kind of similar to my gatherings, even though this isn't all happening in real time. Speaking of my gatherings, I just want to take a quick moment to mention a few that I have coming up. If you've never been to a gathering before, these are virtual gatherings that we do over Zoom. We gather with people from all over the world to co-create and do activations, meditations, and connections with different beings like interdimensionals, angelics, and elementals. And speaking of elementals, that's actually what we're doing this coming Sunday, March 20th at 7 p.m. Pacific time. I will be doing a fairies and elementals gathering with anyone who would like to join. Whether you've done this before or you are new to this whole space, I promise you it will be amazing. So that is, again, March 20th at 7 p.m. Pacific time. In addition to that, the following Sunday, March 27th, I actually have two gatherings. One is at 5 a.m. Pacific time. That is our Pleiadian group activation. So if you're drawn to Pleiadians, this one is going to be incredible. In the evening at 7 p.m. Pacific time, I have our Arcturian Circle of 8. Now that one does have a limit to participants because, again, it's a circle of 8. So if you feel drawn to that, I would hop on the link and get signed up right away before it fills up. All of these are just incredible ways to enhance your gifts, your abilities to connect with different energies, and to receive activations. So I would be honored to have you join me for any of them. And again, the link is just down below. Okay, moving on to the message. I want to start off by letting you know I have been feeling this very interesting energy lately where I've been told to slow down a little bit. I don't know how many of you are in the same boat, but I really felt some brakes put on energetically to where I was kind of going at a certain pace and they were like, all right, time to integrate, slow down, rest. Things actually happened in my 3D life that quote unquote forced me to stop and slow down and give my attention to other things rather than some of the energetic stuff that I've been doing. And I felt like it was necessary. I do. And I appreciate that. But I just want to let you know that that is an energy I'm tapping into lately. If you're feeling it, some of you may judge it like, oh, I'm depressed, I'm not motivated. I want you to relabel that for a moment and say, I'm taking a break to integrate. There are a lot of powerful energies coming through right now. There are powerful energies coming through from the intergalactic forces that are trying to help us with Ascension. And there are actually energies coming through for those of you who are empaths from the collective. There are so many waves of energy. I know it can feel chaotic. So I just want you to take a moment, take a breath, allow yourself to integrate the energies that are for your greatest and highest good, right? Because you don't want to actually bring everything in. You only want to have come in what you need and what is best for you. So always set that intention. That's my first sort of theme for this next little while. My second theme is I have had a lot of people be reaching out to me lately concerning how they can connect with their Starseed families, okay? And I know that many of you have listened to some of my activations, from different star races and felt certain things resonate with you. So I just want to let you know that I'm holding space for you. Some of the most basic ways to connect with your starseed families is to begin to listen to my activation specifically from interdimensionals you can find on the YouTube channel and determine which ones resonate with you. It's really interesting because I have just started a TikTok account, and if you're not following me there, I would love to have you follow me there. I do post things on that account that I don't post anywhere else. But I've had so many questions from people. What race am I? What star race am I? Or it's funny because people will be listening to an activation and say, ooh, I didn't like that one. I didn't like that light language. Well, that's just your body and your soul saying maybe that's not your family, or maybe that's not an activation you need right now. So I want to encourage you to notice which activations resonate with you most and start to journal about those things. Start to write things down. Start to write your impressions down. Literally create a Starseed family journal where you can begin to bring through messages through automatic writing. For those of you who've never done this before, I promise you, if you just create that intention and have that blank journal, things will start coming to you. Do you know what's interesting? A lot of people doodle and they don't realize they're bringing through messages from their starseed family because they don't always come in language. They come in drawings. So I want you to do one of those things. I would invite you to do that to begin to connect with your starseed family. In addition to that, I would be honored to help you connect through a one-on-one session. And that's the intention we set. I bring through your higher self and we bring through whichever starseed connection you have, because we are multidimensional beings. Many of us are connected to several different starseed races, but I actually set the intention that we connect with the one that you need right now in your life and the one that will help you activate your gifts. So that would be a second way to help you connect with your starseed family. The third way sounds kind of silly, but I promise you it works. And that is to literally just go outside at night and look at the stars. And there's a bunch of fun apps out there. I think the one I use is called Skyview. You can actually take your phone and put it up to the sky and it'll show you what the stars are. And I promise you, you'll feel stars calling out to you. And more often than not, those are your starseed families trying to connect with you. You can feel their energy. And it's honestly really, really powerful. So hopefully those 3 simple tips on how to connect with your starseed families will help. All right, the very last thing that I want to talk about today is how to develop your own abilities to speak light language. And I haven't ever, I don't think, gone on in an episode and said step by step how I developed my light language, but I can give you a few little pointers. And here in the next few weeks, I plan on creating a series of classes where they'll be live and you can come together in a group and we can begin to activate our light language abilities together. Now, I know that creates a lot of fear in people because most people are like, I'm too scared to say them in front of everybody. Well, don't worry, because you can just push mute on the Zoom and practice your light language all by your lonesome. You can even turn your camera off, but I will walk you through different ways to begin to activate the light language within you. And for everybody, it's going to be a different kind of language, honestly. A lot of people think when they do light language that they have to be so multilingual like maybe I am. And I'm like, no, sometimes people just need to know their light language. They will use that. If they're healers, they'll use that with their clients. If they're just don't really necessarily have a light worker business, they can literally just use it to help them activate something within themselves and help them connect to their starseed families or their higher self or angels or whoever it is. For me, I use light language when I get stuck, when my third eye is going and then all of a sudden I don't see anything and it's blank. I'll just start speaking light language and then the things will come through. So for those of you who also have issues with maybe feeling blocked in your third eye, producing light language, just experimenting with it is another great way to do that. So be on the lookout for those classes that I'm going to be opening registration for here coming up soon. But some simple tips for doing light language. A lot of people will say to me, I remember speaking that when I was a child. So I tell people, like, start as if you're talking like a little kid speaking gibberish. It's really true. It sounds like gibberish and it might feel like gibberish, but as you go, you're going to notice like patterns in what you're speaking. And when you see those patterns start coming up, that is your light language. You'll say the same thing like 3 times and you won't even mean to. I do that a lot, and I know that I'm just repeating, and that's really light language. So at first, again, you'll feel like you're just speaking baby talk, and that's okay. That's all part of how it goes. One of the things about light language that I've noticed is that it really helps us to overcome our fears of opening our throat chakra. And for those of you who feel blocked there, light language is a great way to do it. You can do it in the safe space of your home, all by yourself. You can actually use light language, never speak it out to the world, like never put it on a recording or do it in front of anybody, and it will still help you. So I want you to remember that. Okay, for those of you who are also singers or who are drawn to music and want to activate your light language, do it through song. That's how I started. I started by literally just singing different words that I never thought I could sing before. Some of you may know that there are singers out there. One of them in particular comes up, and I'll leave a link below to a YouTube video. But a while back, this movie came out called Gladiator, and there is an artist that sings a song at the very end of that movie, and she says she is speaking her language with God. And I know she's meaning light language. And this was a very popular song. So if you've seen the movie Gladiator and you remember the song I'm talking about, that's a great way. She literally, what I read about that recording was that she walked in the studio and it was a 1 take because she was channeling. She was channeling that beautiful language. So that's another thing. If you even just turn on music, and it's basically like improvisation, and you just start improvising some kind of melody to go along with whatever you're listening to, and then it turns into like la, 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 and then me, 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 and then all these other sounds start coming out. It's a really great way to get that flow coming. But again, you don't have to be musical to do light language. You don't have to sing light language like I do. You can just speak it. Okay, the third way that I want to encourage you to practice light language is through automatic writing. And it's kind of related to what I was saying before about drawing. Some people will draw symbols, and that's their light language. They won't necessarily do a spoken light language right away. So if you like to doodle, like I said earlier, I want you to remember that could be your light language that you're bringing through. All right? It's something you never thought of before, but here I am telling you those weird doodles that you've always drawn, it's possibly a connection to your soul and will open up things inside you and activate things inside you. When you step into this world, all of a sudden, Spirit brings to you all these things that have always happened in your life that you thought were random, and they actually had a meaning. They were ways of awakening things within your soul, remembering who you are, connecting with your soul family. And they were not by chance. There was a purpose for every single one of those random things. As always, as I wrap up today, I just want to tell you I am so appreciative of the way that you come and co-create with me, how you bring your light and your love in all that you do to this planet. I'm holding space for you right now. I'm holding space for you to go through any shadow work you're going through. I'm holding space for you to transition in relationships if that's happening for you. I'm holding space for you during maybe some of your physical ascension symptoms, because I know a lot of people are being affected by those. I'm sending you so much love. I hope to see you soon possibly at a gathering so that we can co-create that way. And as always, I honor the divine being that you are.